without any justification. That's illegal.
For homeowners in the path of Hurricane Florence or even outside of it, it's likely too late to add appropriate storm insurance, but you can make sure your policies are in a safe place. Mike Causey is North Carolina's insurance commissioner and tells us,
I would encourage people to go to our website, ncdoi.com. We have a site on there, nchurclaims.com.
The city of Raleigh is working to keep the city tap water flowing no matter what Florence brings. The city is preparing to get generators and fuel going to keep the water plants running, according to City Public Utilities Director Ed Buchanan.
It's buried underground, of course, so it has a level of protection, but it's something that you still have to look after in terms of a tree damage or a washout around a creek. We're always concerned about that.
Many coastal counties in North Carolina have been evacuating. Florence could make landfall late Thursday or early Friday. The Federal Emergency Management Agency is setting up in North Carolina, and Administrator Jeffrey Baird is in Raleigh and tells us,
this storm is not a glancing blow. This storm is going to be a direct hit onto our coast, and I want to set the expectations now that it is going to be a long time and a long-term recovery when we talk about the effects of Florence.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
AM 590 WCAB Rutherfordton with FM translator service on W265DW at 100.9. From ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Hurricane Florence is slowing down a bit. Forecasters now say the Category 4 storm may not make landfall until Friday. Virginia's Governor Ralph Northam.
These storms have a mind of their own. They change direction, and so we're still very vulnerable.
ABC's Pete Combs is in Charleston, South Carolina.
Here at the South Carolina Emergency Management Center, Derek Becker says fuel might be a problem for the hundreds of thousands of people fleeing from Hurricane Florence.
Making sure that people are able to get gas. We have a refueling plan throughout the state where we will refuel certain stations along evacuation routes.
Another worry, in the coastal city of Charleston, the state's biggest city, a lot of people say they're staying in spite of the mandatory evacuation.
Former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort has a pretrial hearing today in his upcoming obstruction case, and the Washington Post is saying that Manafort's team is in talks with the special counsel's office about a possible plea deal. Russia now says it's found the two men wanted in Great Britain for poisoning earlier this year.
Vladimir Putin says authorities know who the men are, and he says there's nothing criminal about them. Britain last week named the pair as, quote, key suspects in the nerve agent poisoning of former spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter. London alleged they work for Russian military intelligence. Putin flatly denies that.
ABC's Tom Rivers at the foreign desk. Washington, D.C. Cardinal Donald Wuerl now says he will speak to Pope Francis soon about resigning. ABC's David Wright.
Wuerl is one of the most prominent Catholic leaders here in the U.S., someone who's closely aligned with Pope Francis, and someone who's presented himself as a champion of survivors of sexual abuse. But his reputation was badly tarnished by that Pennsylvania grand jury report, which mentioned his name more than 200 times in connection with the cover-up.
Mark D'Amico, one half of the couple accused of cheating a homeless man out of hundreds of thousands of dollars, has been arrested in New Jersey on unrelated charges. You're listening to ABC News.
Good news. You are not stuck with your health care plan. Really. You have a choice, and it's a great one. It's called MediShare, and if you've heard about it and wondered what exactly it is, it's a way that people share their health care bills. And these are people who have a common faith, who want to be part of something beautiful that not only meets their healthcare needs, but the needs of others too. And it's people who love to save money, big time. MediShare members typically save $500 a month per family on their healthcare costs. That is a life changer for people. So this could be for you. Maybe it's what you've been looking for, a way to pay healthcare bills that's not only very smart financially, but it's even profound. MediShare is a nonprofit with 400,000 members nationwide who pray for and share with each other. So yes, you're not stuck. There's another way, and it could save you a lot. Hit *324 to find out how much you can save on your health care. Message and data rates may apply. That's *324.
Progress in the fight against cancer. The American Association for Cancer Research now says the death rate due to cancer dropped 26% between 2001 and 2015. The report, however, also shows inequalities in cancer diagnoses. For example, Black and Hispanic women are much more likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer later than white women. Apple is ready to pull back the curtain today on a whole bunch of new stuff.
3 new iPhone models, new iPad products, a new Apple Watch, updated AirPods, and finally a long-awaited Apple wireless charging mat. Dana Woolman at the Tech Blog and Gadget says that's all expected to be unveiled today.
We do expect to see not only one new iPhone, but actually as many as 3, according to the rumor mill.
One will likely be an update to the current iPhone 10, plus a larger Max model, which would be the biggest iPhone ever, and then a third, less expensive model that would be minus some bells and whistles. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Amazon's got something new planned for the holidays.
That big box you may find on your doorstep later this year won't be from Santa, but it's something he'd probably approve. Amazon plans to sell and ship fresh, full-size Christmas trees this holiday season. Douglas firs, Norfolk Island pines, and other varieties. But since trees aren't paperback books yet, fresh won't mean live. The internet retail giant will bound and ship them within 10 days of being cut down. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch, or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit Zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's Zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Deer season has arrived, and Oakland Feed and Seed has what you need for the season. Buck John and Buck Forage oats, 6-way deer forage mix, and 5-way deer forage mix. Check on the winter peas, molasses, 1 gallon and 2.5 gallon. Oakland Feed and Seed carries chicory, deer greens, dried molasses, beet juice, and more. If you're a deer runner or referee, go see Oakland Feed and Seed. Also, grass season is coming soon, and you can be ready with 17-17-17 fertilizer and 10-10-10 fertilizer, K31 fescue, and 5-star turf fescue. Make Oakland Feed and Seed your first stop because they have it all. Oakland Road, Springdale.
This week is ahead some areas of low cloudiness and fog around the region. After that, we'll range between mostly cloudy and partly sunny. Should be warm and windy today, and there could be a few isolated widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly during the afternoon or evening. Highs will reach about 80 to 85. Later tonight, variably cloudy, some fog or low clouds again, with lows in the upper 60s to low 70s. Partly cloudy and turning breezy Thursday, a slight chance of a thunder shower or two. Highs 82 to 87. I'm Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Thanks very much, Mike Moss. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Hump Day Wednesday morning. It is 71 degrees and clear skies out there right now. We may get some rain later on today, but right now we're anticipating watching Florence, see what Florence is going to dump on us in North Carolina. We'll have some heavy winds. Looks like coming up on Sunday, the heaviest winds we're going to have will be about 25 miles per hour, northeast winds. North-northeast winds 10 to 25 miles per hour on Sunday, but today just about a 50-50 chance of some rain. Highs around 90, highs around 84 with the heat index around 90 today. So we got a lot to watch for, a lot to talk about in the next few days, but we'll keep an eye on that weather pattern for you. Be sure to stay tuned right here to 100.9 FM and 590 AM on your radio dial. Right now we have these death announcements. Brenda Faulkner Browning of Rutherfordton died Tuesday, September the 11th at her home. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced later by McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Services. And again, that's Brenda Faulkner Browning. Mr. Larry Grant Devaney passed away Saturday, September the 8th at his residence. A private celebration of life will be held at a later date. Larry was laid to rest at Calvary Baptist Church. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Mr. Larry Grant Devaney. James Jimmy Goforth, age 72 of Forest City, died Sunday, September the 10th at his residence. The funeral service will be conducted at 3 o'clock today at Chase Baptist Church. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time in the church fellowship hall. Graveside service at Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery with military honors will be provided by the Rutherford County Honor Guard and will follow the service at the church. Mr. Goforth will lie in state from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. today at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for James Jimmy Goforth. Myra Jane Kelly, age 52 of Forest City, passed away Sunday, September the 9th at her residence. A memorial service to celebrate Myra's life will be conducted at 5 o'clock Friday, September the 14th at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services is serving the family of Myra Jane Kelly. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. Complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard this morning at 11:30. Then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on the most information for the Foothills, WCAB in Rutherfordton. Well, there's been some changes, as you can well guess, with sports this weekend. Tar Heels have canceled their game because of the impending weather. And all three of the high school football games this week involving our local teams have been moved up to Thursday night. East Rutherford at Morganton Patton, 6:30 p.m. Kickoff. And Calhoun Falls, South Carolina Charter at Thomas Jefferson, 7 o'clock kickoff. And RS Central at South Caldwell, 7 o'clock kickoff. We expect right now to carry the RS Central at South Caldwell game. We'll have Mr. Friday night on tomorrow morning, to talk about the game and the lineups. Normally we have him on Friday mornings to talk about the games for Friday night. Since all the games that were going to be played Thursday night, we'll have him on Thursday to talk about that and see what's taking place at that time. So Kings Mountain is at Shelby, of course, on that those schedule changes as well. We'll have all that information plus more. Just stay tuned.
On Sunday, Democrat Senate Leader Chuck U. Schumer made a prediction. He said that Brett Kavanaugh will let President Trump overreach his presidential authority. If he's confirmed in a Supreme Court, Justice Kavanaugh will make sure that President Trump will never be investigated or subpoenaed, says Schumer. Roe versus Wade will, of course, be overturned. Kavanaugh will undo health care. He's going to do all of that all by himself. In their wildest imaginations, the founders could have never guessed that a single Supreme Court justice would have that kind of power. You know why? They don't. Now, during his confirmation process, Democrats have made total fools of themselves. We all saw the screeching protests inside the hearing room. We saw Democrat presidential hopeful Kamala Harris, constant, senseless interruptions, and Cory Booker's declaration that he's Spartacus. None of the Democrats' clown acts will stop this nomination, nor will their stupid predictions that Kavanaugh's confirmation will bring on Armageddon. Chuck U., if you're looking for overreach, look no further than the nearest mirror. You know, you don't look like you used to. You might want to find out why. There are a lot of warnings you don't want to miss, like a sign saying bridge out up ahead. But in the digital world, there may be no warning when it comes to cyber threats. That's why the new LifeLock identity theft protection now adds Norton Security. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to help detect threats to your identity, and Norton Security protects your devices from ransomware, emerging viruses, and other online threats. And if you have a problem, their agents will work with you to fix it. Now, of course, no one can stop every cyber threat or prevent all identity theft or even monitor all transactions in all businesses, but having new LifeLock with Norton means that they'll warn you about the threats you could otherwise miss on your own. Join now. Get an extra 10% off your first year, plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Go to lifelock.com or call 800-440-4833. Use the promo code RUSH. Terms apply.
When you want your ad dollars to reach the masses, call the sales team at WCAB. Call Tracy or Jim, 828-287-3356, 100.9 FM and 590 AM.
Hi, I'm Johnny Erkson Tata. Each year, about 1 in 10 babies in the United States is born prematurely. Premature birth is when a baby is born before 37 weeks. And for many of these infants, being born early can result in long-term health problems, including disability. Children who are born early may develop intestinal disorders or be born with hearing or vision impairments. Plus, their underdeveloped lungs can result in breathing difficulties. Premature birth has also been linked to cerebral palsy or autism. It's why finding and treating any potential problems as early as possible during pregnancy is so key in helping babies live longer and healthier lives. If you are an expectant mother, there really are good steps you can take to minimize your risk of preterm delivery. For helpful tips and information on premature birth, visit disabilitycampaign.org.
Rutherford Regional Health System now features its walk-in services at Forest City Family Care at 212 Allendale Drive, Forest City, just behind the Tri-City Mall. Those needing walk-in care enjoy the same great services, but now at the new location. They continue to operate Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. The scope of services remain unchanged for the walk-in patients. When you don't have an appointment but need to be seen quickly, we hope you'll choose the walk-in services now located at the rear entrance of Forest City Family Care. If you've been dreaming of having beautiful floors, updating your carpet or your floor covering in your house, let those dreams come a reality at Southern Carpet. They'll help you guide through the process of deciding what's best for you and what's best for your budget. Their family business is pleased to have been growing for over 20 years in Rutherford County. Gerald and Lynn and Clayton Tony know how to satisfy their customers. They'll be glad to work with you. They strive to share a bit of Southern hospitality and meet the flooring needs of their neighbors here in Rutherford as well as surrounding counties. They have more on hand ready to install high-quality floor products than anybody else. So why don't you trust Southern Carpets like so many others have done? Help those dreams become a reality with new floors from Southern Carpet.
We're going to take a look at Jesse and his career as an outlaw, and some people won't like what I have to say about him. Jesse James was born in Clay County, Missouri on September 5, 1847. When he was a young boy, Jesse's father abandoned him for the California gold fields. In a short time, Jesse's mother married a second time and then a third time, and his stepfather supposedly didn't treat him well. Then at the age of 14, the Civil War broke out, and later Jesse joined William Quantrell, the leader of one of the most vicious guerrilla forces. It was a rough childhood for any person. Following the Civil War, Jesse, his brother Frank, and others started on a crime wave. Because there was resentment toward the railroads and the powerful, dime novels created the image of Jesse as being a modern-day Robin Hood, taking from the rich and giving to the poor. In reality, when Jesse committed a crime, the common folk suffered as much as the wealthy. Banks in the 1800s didn't have insured deposits, and it was the average person who used them. So this Robin Hood robbed from the poor to make himself rich. In the process of robbing the Kansas City Fair, a little girl was shot. A train engineer was killed when Jesse derailed his train. During the years of the James Gang operation, they murdered or injured dozens of other bystanders. And as we'll discover in a few days, to the people of Northfield, Minnesota, who died while defending their town, Jesse wasn't a hero. Jesse James, a Robin Hood? I think not. But he was one good outlaw. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
7:16, a wonderful Wednesday morning broadcast here as we get to the phones and find out what's been happening over the past 24 hours or so. And Deputy Keller is on the phone right now with me from the Sheriff's Department to give us that update. Good morning. How are you doing?
Great. How are you doing today?
Doing fine, thanks. Tell us what's on the report.
All right, so in the last 24 hours, Sheriff's Office responded to 122 calls for service, 12 arrests, and currently has 218 in the county jail. For incident reports, we have Elaine Johnson reported fraud, and for arrest reports, we had Marty Campbell arrested for aiding and abetting driving a monster's boat, aiding and abetting speed to elude for arrest, and harboring a fugitive. Darnell Johnson reported arrested for failed to appear on misdemeanor. Brandy Blanton arrested for failed to appear on felony. Jason Geddes arrested for failed to appear on a misdemeanor. And Roger Cook arrested for speeding to elude arrest, possession of Schedule II controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. That's all we got for today.
We do appreciate that report, Deputy Keller. You have a safe day out there. We'll see you next time.
All right, you too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. And the 911 Communications Center update next.
It's time for you to test drive the affordable, fuel-efficient Ford Fusion from Sisk Family Ford in Forest City. Family-owned Sisk Ford can put you into the car you want with a payment plan you can appreciate. If it's a truck you want, get the Ford truck that's breaking records in sales. Ask about why the sales department is being bragged on with each and every sale that they make. They love your business at Sisk Family Ford, and it shows. New and used automobiles and an award-winning service department makes Sisk Family Ford the choice for so many. Step up to Ford today. Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Here's Lindsay now with the 911 Communications Center report. Lindsay, good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. Tell us what's on your report.
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 433 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 44 EMS, 21 rescue, 100 law enforcement, 122 Sheriff's Office, 89 Forest City, 5 Lake Lure, 26 Rutherford, 71 Spindale, under fire calls, Cliffside, Forest City, Rutherford and Spindale all had motor vehicle accidents, and Forest City and Rutherford also had industrial fire alarms, and that is all.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bostic Fire Department is going to be getting a hunk of money from Congressman Patrick McHenry. He announced yesterday $70,715 Homeland Security grant to the Bostic Volunteer Fire Department. The grant will go to the department there in Bostic. Comes in the 9th round of the 2017 fiscal year Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program, which aims to help firefighters and first responders throughout the county. Local departments applied for the grants for the program, which is administered by the Grant Programs Director, and the Bostic Fire Department will be receiving that grant from Congressman Patrick McHenry. Now here is Ruby Taylor with the report from out of Danieltown with the SDO Fire District. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us what's been happening over in your neighborhood.
Well, the fire department didn't have any calls. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Faye Husky, Chad McGill, Linda Harris, Minnie Bailey, and Jesse James having birthdays. And Mr. and Ms. James Ray Morgan is having an anniversary today. And hope all these people have a nice day. Signs are in the secrets today and tomorrow. And, Jim, that's all I've got.
Ruby, I do appreciate it. You have a great day now.
You too. Bye-bye.
You know, when you need a plumber, you want someone with a reputation of getting right out to you and getting the job done for you the right way. That'll be Olmsted Plumbing. Since 1973, the Olmsted family has been serving homeowners and builders with the best of service. From unclogging a drain to replacing fixtures and appliances to remodeling jobs, their top quality work, fair prices, and punctual service has made them the area's leading plumbing firm. Eric and Chad are continuing that family tradition, and they'd like to serve you. Call 245-7302. Experience plus equipment equals excellence. Olmsted Plumbing at 245-7302. McCurry Deck Motors has been providing an impressive selection of automobiles for over 50 years. At McCurry Deck, you can browse the great selection of GMC automobiles and drive away in one knowing you have gotten the best deal possible. The team at McCurry Deck Motors counts it a privilege to make you a happy and satisfied customer. Why not test drive one of the comfortable and stylish GMCs today? At GMC, we are professional grade. At McCurry Deck Motors, we're the home of GMC, Chevy, and Buick. 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City. Now let's head toward the Rubdig Ball. Steve's on the phone to give us an update from there. Steve, how you doing this morning?
Hanging on, Jim. We're actually looks like we got a little bit of drying out before we get the wet weather, so that's going to be very good for us.
Yeah.
I was concerned that we were going to have this consistent, very wet weather leading up to what we're going to get this weekend. We got a little bit of rain last night, but that's all we've gotten. We got less than 0.3 of an inch since we had the 2.5 inches Sunday night. So
you didn't need any more right now.
No. We're drying out a little bit, I hope. So we're soggy, but it's not like overwhelming. And then receive the other coming that's going to come at us. So
Do they plan on lowering the lake during this weekend?
That's a good question, and they started that Monday or Sunday. For today is what they were planning to do. I don't know if they continued through with that effort, but it is a few feet below, and we've, of course, lowered our Ball Mountain Lake as well, so we can make sure we're prepared there, too.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So we're all getting ready for all that. I do have an announcement to make. Through all this, through all the good weather we're going to have this weekend, the White House Community Center, they're going to have a spaghetti dinner with all the sides, and it's going to be at the White House Community Center, 5408 Painters Gap Road, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and adults $8, kids 5 to 10. They're $4. So lots on the menu there. Too much to read, but I'm sure it'll be good, and nobody will go away not hungry, from what I hear. So good for the community, and during all this other, maybe you don't have to cook during all this other stuff that's going on. Let those folks cook for you and prepare for the hurricane.
Well, I hope they get to follow through with it. I hope. I don't know if that rain is going to affect much. I do know all the college games have been, some of them have been postponed. High school games have been moved up from Friday to Thursday. So a lot of people anticipating what's going to happen. I just hope it doesn't hit us out here that bad.
Exactly. A lot of unknowns. You keep seeing that the cone of certainty, it's pretty stable. If anything, maybe a little to the south once it enters, not north. West, of course, towards us, and then maybe a little south. That's what the current. I mean, but that can change in 10 minutes. So that's been pretty consistent. The point of entry there, it's just what happens afterwards, and if it stalls or not. And that's what we're mainly concerned about, is that stalling of the system and the churning out of all the precip.
Yeah, they're anticipating it could very well stall or go move very slowly and stall. So who knows what may take place.
Yeah, we're just cleaning out our gutters and our culverts, drains, digging our ditches.
Yeah.
I did all I need to do at my home because I may spend some time here this weekend.
Folks just don't need to panic. They don't need to panic and just be prepared for whatever takes place and do what they need to do, and just don't panic and stay out of the way of it.
Exactly. Just make your preparations and you'll feel a little more comfortable. Easier to sleep when you make the preparations.
That's exactly right.
So.
All right, Steve, will you keep up the good work up there and keep us posted. Anything new to breaks, let us know, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Okay, Jim. Thank you.
Bye-bye. That's Rumbling Ball Security Gatehouse there. It's terrible to have to talk about these kind of things in modern times, but it's gotten to the point that we all need more security around our homes. I remember, many of you remember, when we could go to bed, leave the front door open even, and windows up, and not worry about anybody coming to our house and bothering us and breaking us in, but that's not the case anymore. And I'm glad to be able to announce to you that Henson is helping us prepare for whatever inevitable thing that happens. They are now stocking, at Henson Building Material, they're now stocking Ring home security products. They're stocking the Video Doorbell 2 spotlight cameras and floodlight cameras. It's going to be a very good system. They also have solar-powered Ring security signs valued at $45. Now, with this new security system, Ring Home Security, with the Video Doorbell 2 spotlight cameras and floodlight cameras that you can install yourself, they will give to the first 3 who purchase a security device that mentions, you heard me talking about them here on the radio, valued at $45. That's the solar-powered Ring security signs valued at $45. They'll give to the first 3 who purchase this Ring system. Just mention that you heard me talking about them and get that security system. And do it before too long, because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to have to say, it seems it's not getting any better in terms of people who want to take things that don't belong to them or break in homes that don't belong to them or harass us in places. So go ahead and get that security system. And I don't know any better way to get that than the good folks over at Henson Building Material. Now, they advertise it on TV all the time, stuff like that. You know what you're getting there, but at Henson's you can see the product. And they can explain it to you. and you can do it yourself. So go by Henson and ask about this Ring, R-I-N-G, Ring Home Security System, and be one of the first 3 purchases and get that those security signs valued at $45 free of charge. All right, it's 28. Excuse me, 28 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we're going over to Hudlow. Bob Hodge is on the phone with me right now to give us an update. Bob, good morning.
Well, good hump day morning there.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's middle of the week there, and the hurricane's still coming, so.
Yeah, you ready?
Well, I was ready as ever be, I reckon. Just hunker down and take what comes there.
That's about all we can do, isn't it?
That's about all you can do there. But they still can't make up their minds where it's going when it hits land, it don't look like. So,
I know it.
So, I just don't know exactly what it's going to do yet. But whatever, I guess you need to get prepared there and for it and whatever comes there.
As you say, just hunker down.
It's hunker down, that's right. Jim, up here with the fire department doing now, it's been pretty quiet. Went into a couple of medical calls, hadn't had any fire calls, so that's good. And things are right along good up here this morning so far, and maybe it'll stay that way for the rest of the day. And so you take care, and I hope you have a good day.
Thanks, Bob. You too, and I'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Get ready for those hot summer months driving with a stop at RS Speedy Lube, Railroad Avenue. The Express Inspection Station gets you back on the road and keeps you legal. Speedy Lube has 2 lanes to serve you, gets you in and out in no time, and vacuum your car while the oil is being changed, air conditioner checked, transmission flushed, wiper blades replaced if needed, even a top-of-the-line car wash, all at RS Speedy Lube and Inspection Station, Railroad Avenue in Ruth. Take care of that car and have a safe trip. Getting ready for deer season doesn't have to be burdensome with your friends standing by to help. Farmer's Friend, feed, seed, and supply in Rutherford. Deer corn, $7 for a 50-pound bag. Cob corn, $8. Peanut deer mix, $12.99 for the 50-pound bag. Sugar beet, $25 for 3 pounds. All your deer season preparation is now available at Farmer's Friend, feed, seed, and supply. Check out the best price for Kills Weed Killer, $47.99 for 2.5 gallons. Farmer's Friend, feed, seed, and supply, 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherford.
All our high school football games have been moved from Friday night to Thursday night in anticipation of what may be developing this weekend. So all those Friday night games are now Thursday night games.
Health insurance is complicated, and with healthcare reform on the way, it's not getting any simpler. If you've got questions, we've got agents. Your local Farm Bureau insurance agent can walk you through the changes and offer you the right healthcare plan with the right benefits for you. Healthcare may be changing, but our superior service isn't. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Sue Price is standing by with the Cherry Mountain Fire District report in hand. Sue, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you feeling this morning?
Well, I'm feeling okay. Hope you're doing good.
Yes, I am. Richard doing okay?
He is.
Good.
We're doing about like common, just best we can.
Good.
But just thankful to still be able to get up and move around some.
Sure.
That's a blessing. I'm starting out at 70 degrees this morning, and it's cloudy out there. I guess we may get some rain today, but that'll be okay. I guess we're in for some rain for the next while. We don't know what that storm's going to do. Just hope it don't get too bad. I don't have any calls from the fire department. I guess they're trying to get ready to be whatever help they can to anybody that needs it. So, everybody's getting prepared the best they can, I reckon. Got no birthdays on my church calendar, on my personal calendar. I got Elaine Oaks, so I hope she'll have a good day today. And the other two calendars don't have anything today, so not too many celebrating. In my announcements, the FFA will have a fundraiser Saturday the 22nd at the Drop-In in Bostic. Hot dogs and hamburgers, desserts and drinks, so come on out and help with that if you can. As far as I know, that's still planned. And also, I want to remind the community that our community revival is coming up this month. It'll be the 23rd through the 27th at Sunshine School. The Sunday service starts at 6, and the rest of the week it starts at 7. So mark that on your calendars and keep that in mind. We always have a good turnout for that and enjoy going. And so far, that's the only announcements I have. It's just quiet and calm over this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
So I appreciate you very much. Enjoy your day as well, and I will see you next time.
All right.
So bye-bye. We're being kind to David Bradley today. David is self-employed, lives in Rutherfordton, so we will wish him a great, big, happy birthday.
Gregory's Original Restaurant in the Park Lane Plaza is the perfect dining choice of Rutherford County. Greg offers all your favorite dishes. Try their delicious subs, grinders, pasta, chicken, burgers, fresh garden salads, and the most delicious steaks served with mushroom gravy or peppers and onions. Be sure to call on Gregory's for all your catering needs at 287-2171. Check out the website for menus and event information, www.gregorysoriginal.com. Gregory's in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherfordton. Saving a lot on your groceries is easy at Save-A-Lot. They have hundreds of super low prices on many of your favorite name brand items. They have a great selection of fresh meats and produce, frozen foods, snack foods, your favorite beverages, and delicious pastries. Hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 to 9, Sundays 10 to 8. Saving a lot is easy at Save-A-Lot in the White Oak Plaza in Spindale. The Recliner Center is happy to introduce new styles of spring air mattresses. Some come with the cool gel that you're going to love. Remember the days when you could flip your mattress? Well, Spring Air is now offering the flippable mattress. Check out these for a really great night's sleep. The Recliner Center is needing to make room for some new styles of lift chairs, recliners, and sofas, and you're going to get some special deals on the floor models and extra inventory in the store. Now, you always know you get the best deals in town at the Recliner Center, and now's the best time to go shopping. Check on the inventory of new recliners, sofas, and lift chairs coming in. Now, some of the styles have a new water-repellent fabric. Water beads up instead of soaking into the fabric. Leave it to the Recliner Center to offer you the best choices and best prices. Ask to see the new wall hugger style furniture. Hours are Wednesday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 2. The Recliner Center on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
It's 7:36. We have 71 degrees here at the Leading Information Center in Rutherford County, WCAB. Now let's head toward Union Mills and get that report from Miss Kelly. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How about you on this wonderful Wednesday?
I'm wonderful.
I'm glad to hear it. We're getting ready for a big old event, aren't we?
Well,
big events, the Equestrian Center and the storm.
I know, and the storm could affect the Equestrian Center quite a bit.
That's exactly right. I think it already has. They said they hadn't sold but about 250,000 tickets, and they was looking to sell 400 to 500,000, and a lot of it they thought had to do with the storm.
Well, it could possibly be, but 250,000 tickets is a lot of tickets, but
yeah, that's a lot of tickets. Yeah.
and they weren't selling them for $1, I don't believe.
No, I don't think so either. I got tickled. I was reading in the paper. It said, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before or something. They had something and they said it's free to the public, but you have to pay $20 to park. Well, that ain't free. I said, oh my goodness. But anyway, we hope everybody's getting ready and getting everything done so when the storm hits, everybody will be safe and whatever. We'll just ride it out and see what happens. I know I don't like storms. I'm scared of them.
Well, I'm talking about paying for that $20 to park. That's kind of like going to the movies and get a cheap movie ticket and pay $25 for a bag of popcorn.
There you go.
And a soft drink, you got to float alone to get a drink and a bag of popcorn almost.
That's it. I'm telling you, it's something else. But anyway, we hope everybody's having a good day. I've got 70 degrees on the front porch. I don't have but one birthday today, and that's Turner McSwain. I don't have any on Round Hill. So we hope Turner has a greater big day on his special day. And in ways of announcement, we got a spaghetti dinner fundraiser Saturday, September the 15th from 5 to 8 p.m. White House Community Center on Painters Gap Road in Union Mills. They're going to have live music. Adults $8, kids 5 to 10, 4 and under 5 eat free. They're going to have spaghetti, salad, garlic bread sticks, ice cream, assorted homemade desserts, tea, and coffee. And I think that's the only announcements I got so far. So it's just short, sweet, and quiet up here and cloudy, very cloudy.
I'm going to be talking with a friend who lives out toward the coast this morning a little after 8 o'clock, and he's going to give us an update on his perspective and what it looks like and what he's planning on doing in terms of evacuate. He says he's not going to evacuate, but we'll see if he's changed his mind by this morning. And I'll be talking with Ed Sweeney a little after 8 o'clock this morning to see what's really happening out there from his perspective. We see the TV, listen to the radio, and they're getting reports. But this guy lives right there pretty close, so he can tell us firsthand what's going on.
Well, my son's mother lives on Oak Island, and they said they didn't know if they was going to evacuate. I don't understand that. When you got something this big, and it's going to affect people as far in as Richmond, Virginia, why would you, and you're about 2 miles or a mile and a half or right on the beach, why would you not get out?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would leave too.
Wouldn't have to tell me twice.
A lot of those places around the coast there, like in Florida, they have permanent plywood made to shape the windows. They keep those in store, and when these things happen, they just put those plywood windows up and doors, and they go away for a while. So they anticipate it, and so a lot of people are prepared for it.
Yeah.
I was seeing a story that dozens of horses from the Charleston was evacuated to Tryon ahead of the hurricane. 23 horses from Charleston area therapeutic riding salt shelter in Tryon at the Foothills Equestrian Nature Center for the 3rd year in a row. 1 year ago, they had arrived here to evacuate Charleston for Hurricane Irma, and Rebecca Carmoni, the barn manager at the Charleston area therapeutic riding, says their positive experience in Tryon in the past led to the decision to evacuate to Tryon. So they loaded those horses up in Charleston, brought them up to Tryon for that center up there. So everybody's looking after everybody, I hope.
Well, that's good. Yeah, we need to look after each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about these folks that panic during these kind of things and just can't think sensibly because they're in a panic mode and they think everything's going to happen. You got to stay calm and think it through and anticipate
before it hits.
Yeah. Plan for it. I know. If it hits, it hits, but you can't do anything about it until it does.
That's right.
Prepare for it.
And once it hits and you've stayed, then there ain't a whole lot you can do but just ride it out.
Yeah, really.
So, but I was watching 13 News, and everybody coming this way, the westbound was headed, or the eastbound was headed west, or what, eastbound was headed west, so she said she's going to Asheville.
Yeah. Well, good. Maybe we'll stop in Rutherford County, visit with us a while.
There you go.
We don't have any rooms left, I don't think, but maybe.
I'm telling you, I said between the equestrian events and this hurricane, they may have to go up to Mount Mitchell or somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you got any extra rooms you can put somebody up for the night?
Well, I could sleep on the couch and somebody could have my room if necessary. I'd do that.
Well, how nice of you.
I've done it before.
How nice of you. Listen,
I don't have but 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, well.
That was my choice.
Sure. Well, that'd be fine. I've slept on the couch many times.
Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Well, you have a great day up there. We'll see you back tomorrow.
We'll catch you later.
Thanks, Brenda. Bye. That's the Cali Report from upstate Union Mills, 42 minutes after 7 o'clock. When you begin to recognize there is a hearing loss going on in your house with somebody that you love, why don't recommend they visit Miracle Ear and have that free hearing test done? There's no obligation to that whatsoever. Just call Lisa Terry at 368, and our area code is 828-368-4126, and set a time to come by and have that free hearing test done. No obligation, no charge. It doesn't take long. It doesn't hurt, but it gives you sort of a feel of where your hearing is. And check them out. There's a great story behind Miracle Ear, and you can be in the communications level if you'll do that real soon. Miracle Ear is over in Forest City. The office is there on 1512 West Main Street, Suite 102, right in the same building there with Southern Carpet. We'll have the next phone call coming out of Ellenboro here in just a moment. It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide daycare services for an aging parent or loved one. Rutherford Life Care can be just what you're looking for. Rutherford Life Care offers adults a safe and fun place during the day for medical monitoring, nutritional meals, and daily activities. Rutherford Life is licensed by the state of North Carolina Division of Aging. Call them today and let them answer questions you may have. That's 288-1697, 288-1697. Rutherford Life offers a staff of professionals who show the love and compassion that you entrust your loved ones to. That's Rutherford Life Care Services, located on Thunder Road, Spindale. Again, that phone number is 288-1697. Let's say good morning to Luther Gilly in Ellenboro. Good morning, Luther. How you doing?
Good morning to you too.
You well and happy today?
Hey, I am doing great, having a good time, waiting on the sun to come up.
Well, it may pop out here in a while.
Yeah, I may have to wait a while. It looks to be pretty well cloudy. That's all right. It won't be so hot today. But we just waiting on the rain to get here. But it's quiet this morning. Nothing going on. It's part from they quiet this morning. They had 2 calls. Just the other than that, they're doing great. And everything else is going great there. Just nothing happened. But I want to wish happy birthday today. Raleigh Spratt, he's having a birthday today. And James Coop is having one. And Chris and Pat Blaylock down here, they're having a wedding anniversary today. Hope these people all have a great day and enjoy their day. Because I plan to enjoy my day, and I hope you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks very much, Luther. I'll see you next time.
All right, take care now.
Bye. It's birthday time, anniversary time for this 12th day of September the 12th. So phone lines are clear now. You can call those birthdays in, anniversaries in. We're going to put all those names in a drawing and have a drawing to give away some free Daylight Donuts from Granny B's. That's just that simple. Birthdays and anniversaries that are called in are eligible to be a part of this drawing. 287-3356.
43 years experience behind the name, voted best of best 8 years. That's why folks depend on Hutchins Pest Control. You can call on Tim and his team for moisture control, waterproofing, mold remediation, air quality control, dehumidification, and of course, pest control, rats, fire ants, termites, wildlife removal, and so much more. Call on today for your free estimate. 287-5171. Get the job done by the professionals and relax. Hutchins Pest Control, honest, dependable, and on-time service.
We all love the drop-in. The drop-in offers monthly specials, and you can take advantage of these. Part of those monthly specials this month, mix and match sausage biscuits or liver mush biscuits, 2 for $3. Also, 24-count Aquafina water, $4.99. Bang energy drinks, 2 for $4. The drop-in is now serving Stack's subs at the Bostic Family Mart. Yeah. Enjoy grilled chicken, Philly subs, roast beef, or Italian subs. Try one or all of them. All subs are just $4.99. All these hot and delicious specials now at Drop-In. And the Drop-In has been serving Rutherford County with years of excellent service. And they have seen your kids grow up, many of them, and they'd love for your kids to continue coming because they know how to take care of you. Come on. Enjoy a good meal and grocery shopping at Drop-In. Come on, Drop In. The entire team at Crow's Funeral Home and Cremation Services can help you with options available. They will help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved one. During this time, it's important to turn to someone you can trust and depend on. Crow's Mortuary and Crow's Mortuary and Crematory has a long history of trust and dependability. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory. That's 286-2304. That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today. Well, they're fresh, they're good, they're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. birthday. Well, happy birthday to Dominic McCraw. Dominic is 16. He's a Thomas Jefferson student. He's in 8th grade. Or is that 14? I'm sorry, 14. And Jessica Morrow is 19, having a birthday. So I want to wish these two a happy. Also, Caitlin Rumfeld is 28, works at DSS. Mildred Britton of Ellenboro, she's retired. James and Sandra Morgan, it's their anniversary. They live over in Holly Springs community. Brandon Cole of Chapel Hills having a birthday. Debbie Womack over in Sandy Mush celebrating a birthday. And Teresa Nandy works at the Rutherford County Courthouse, lives in Forest. He's also celebrating. And Lux Ayers of Sunshine, retired, celebrating a birthday. A lot of folks celebrating today. Let's see who else on this 12th day. Turner McSwain also is having a birthday today. We'll find out who's going to win the Daylight Donuts in just a moment.
Every leader will face a time of severe criticism. Their activities and motives may be brought into question. They may be considered out of touch, ideally minded, harebrained, and any number of other choice epitaphs. How should the leader respond? Is it necessary to answer every criticism and negative comment, or is it good to wait a while? Certainly, circumstances dictate some responses, but Colonel George Goethals had a sensible response when severely criticized about his project. Colonel Goethals was responsible for supervising the building of the Panama Canal. It was a monumental task when you consider the problems of climate, health for the workers, and the difficult landscape to be channeled through. But Goethals believed the job could be done. His critics in the United States were vociferous in their protest about this insane project. Not only did they question the more obvious issues confronting the project, but there was also strong opposition to the project itself. Why would we ever need such a canal? Who were the crazy people up in the front office that got us into this situation in the first place? There was more than one prediction that the job would never be completed, but Goethals worked on. Aren't you going to answer these critics? An associate asked. In time, Goethals replied. Well, how? With the canal, was Goethals' response. Sometimes the best response is simply to finish the project the critics said would never get done. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
Congratulations to Teresa Nanny. She won the donuts this morning from Granny B's. Teresa Nanny works at Rutherford Courthouse, lives in Forest City, so congratulations to her. I wish all of you who are celebrating today a happy birthday. Now, coming up next hour, we've got a report straight from the East Coast about how Florence is doing out there. We'll talk with someone who is experiencing it, living it, and see what he's doing about it. Ed Sweeney will be my guest via telephone from out in the Jacksonville area this morning, a little after 8 o'clock. Then, of course, 8:30 this morning, where the Faith continues giving their side of the story. They've been accused many years, and they're speaking out, giving their side of the story. Join us at 8:30 this morning, live here in our studios on WCAB.
Bottle, 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 bottle. Sincerely, oh yes, sincerely, 'cause I love you so dearly. Please say you'll be mine. Lord, won't you tell me why I love that girl is so. She doesn't want me. Oh, I'll never love sincerely. Oh, you know how I love you. I'll do anything for you. Please say you'll be mine. Oh Lord, won't you tell me why I love that girl so? She doesn't want me. Oh, I'll never sincerely. Oh, you know how I love you.
NCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. Hurricane Florence is steadily making its way to the U.S. East Coast. At 5 a.m., the storm was centered about 575 miles southeast of Cape Fear. Meteorologist Megan Glaros is tracking Florence.
What we're looking at right now is still a Category 4 storm. This is a force of nature. What's happening is it's rolling over warmer waters in the Atlantic right now. That's serving to really strengthen it.
National Weather Service meteorologist James Morrow's in Raleigh and was asked when the storm could make landfall.
That's actually a little bit tougher to pinpoint than it was this time yesterday. So now it could happen anywhere on Friday to even really early Saturday morning. So some uncertainty there, but either way, even though it's going to be offshore, we're going to see some impacts here in central North Carolina.
David Vigneault is in Wrightsville Beach, which is getting ready for a possible direct hit.
Right here in Wrightsville Beach, where I'm standing right now, the storm surge could be between 9 and 13 feet. That is higher than some homes. The rainfall, I'm told, could be between 20 and 40 inches. It is staggering when you think of it. On the beach where we are right now, all of these homes will be under immediate mandatory evacuation. And it is these barrier islands of North Carolina that will be the first to bear the brunt of Hurricane Florence.
Governor Roy Cooper announced at his Tuesday afternoon media briefing on Hurricane Florence that he's ordered the immediate state-mandated evacuation of the barrier islands.
If you wait until conditions get bad, it may be too late to get out safely. Wherever you are in North Carolina, get ready for Florence now.
The gas lines have been long at Nags Head.
Lines going all the way out to the roadways. We grabbed water yesterday, so we have water to get out of here. But these are the smart people here loading up on gas because it's going to be a long travel out of here.
You're listening to NCN News.
Carolina Hurricanes single game tickets are on sale now. Take warning as the Canes host the New York Islanders at PNC Arena to kick off the 2018-2019 season on Thursday, October 4th. Full season, 22-game and 11-game flex plans also are available, offering tickets starting as low as $16 per game. For more information and to secure your seats for opening night, visit CarolinaHurricanes.com/tickets. Canes, Islanders, October 4th. Be there.
Sometimes the simplest things can make the biggest difference. An extra pair of hands, a smile, or a shoulder. At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we feel the same about home and auto coverage, affordable rates, trusted service, and local agents. After all, making one simple difference in your life helps you make a big difference in another's. Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Over 5 million people along the East Coast are under hurricane warnings or watches as Florence makes its way to the Carolinas.
I'm Jim Crisula in Wilmington, North Carolina. Tempting fate. Leslie Brown is among those refusing to leave their homes ahead of Hurricane Florence.
You always have supplies, medical supplies, food, water, things like that, gas on hand.
Authorities say those staying behind, especially on barrier islands, will be on their own once Florence blasts ashore. Jim Crisula, CBS News, Wilmington, North Carolina.
Some major highways in South Carolina have reversed lanes to aid in the evacuation from Hurricane Florence. North Carolina Transportation Secretary Jim Trogdon says the layout and variety of roads in the storm zone make such a plan unnecessary.
In eastern North Carolina, all the way from Brunswick County up to Morehead City, we have lots of evacuation route alternatives with a much more dispersed population. All of our routes are green. And we've also flexed additional motorist assistance patrols to make sure that we're responding to vehicles that may be slowing down or broken down.
Farmers are casting a wary eye to the sky with the arrival of Florence. One of them is Johnston County Extension Agent Tim Britton.
Upper bowls that have not yet cracked open, it's generally wise to wait until storm passes before defoliating. So I don't think anybody's going to be defoliating, this week. It's just a wait-and-see game.
He's talking about cotton. A nationally renowned hurricane expert compares Hurricane Florence with some of the worst disasters in North Carolina history. Jay Barnes, who has written several books on hurricanes, including North Carolina's hurricane history, said Florence has a lot of similarities to Hurricanes Hazel, Fran, and Floyd. Barnes says that the major hurricanes have altered the landscape of the Tar Heel state over the last several decades. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
24/7 WCAB is serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Learn more about us at www.wcab59.com. ABC News.
I'm Sherry Preston. Hurricane Florence is moving a bit. Here's ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z.
The storm, more than 600 miles to the southeast of Cape Fear, it has nudged the track just southward and slowed it down. The timing, Friday, 2 a.m. It's still off the coast, so we're looking for a Friday night landfall.
But Florence is still a Category 4 storm, and tropical storm force winds could start hitting the Carolinas later today. FEMA Administrator Brock Long tells ABC if you're under an evacuation order, get out.
If you don't do it now, your time is going to be running out. And once the impacts of this storm start to come in, it's going to be very difficult for first responders to get to you. And you're putting yourself in danger.
ABC's Jim Lyons in North Carolina.
President Trump has already approved requests for federal assets from the governors of Virginia, North, and South Carolina, putting FEMA in motion. But individual communities also are sending people and equipment to help with disaster recovery. Search and rescue crews from as far away as Arizona and Utah, places that have no concept of a hurricane, will put their skills to use in the wake of Florence.
Rain worries in Hawaii, too. Just a couple of weeks after Hurricane Lane hit, Tropical Storm Olivia is expected to hit the state with over a foot of rain. Apple's gearing up to announce new phones today. 3 new iPhones are expected, and ABC's Alex Stone says
the Apple Watch will likely get a pretty big update. The rumors are the new Apple Watch will probably look bigger without actually being bigger by utilizing more of the face of the watch. It may also have an electrocardiogram in it to better take your heart rate and to check for other health problems.
Former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort may be talking about a plea deal. He has a pretrial hearing today in his upcoming trial on obstruction charges. And the Washington Post says Manafort's team has been talking to the special counsel's office. Russia's president now says there's nothing criminal about the 2 men accused of poisoning a former spy in Great Britain. He says both men have been identified in Russia. You're listening to ABC News.
A good night's sleep starts with the right pillow. That's where MyPillow comes in, and we're excited to announce the new 4-pack special. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and save 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 MyPillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Use promo code SKY at checkout or call 1-800-635-1825. That's 1-800-635-1825. Or go to MyPillow.com, click the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code SKY at checkout.
It's time to join the millions of people that meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. Zoom gives you flawless video, crystal clear audio, and instant sharing across any mobile, tablet, or desktop device. But the best thing about Zoom? It just works. So ditch the distractions, join the movement, and meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. Visit Zoom.us to set up your free account today. That's Zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
Russia and China are gearing up for some big war games.
The signal is clear. Russia won't be pushed around on the world stage.
Lieutenant Colonel Maxim Veranoy, through a translator, describes his part of the Vostok 2018 maneuver.
The 1st Air Defence Missile Battalion has moved long distances and has taken up a new position where it's been put on combat duty. At the moment, we've countered an attack, and the group's performance is excellent.
The week-long exercise involves some 300,000 Russian troops. China's also participating amid tensions with the U.S. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Police in Texas now say a homeowner was caught by his own booby trap.
A Harris County, Texas sheriff's deputy was called to a neighborhood in Tomball for a reported shot fired. A 73-year-old man wounded but not seriously outside his house, telling the deputy there's danger inside. His effort to deter burglars, apparently, says a sheriff's official,
rigged his home with explosive devices, which were a small metal-like object containing a shotgun shell.
A deputy went in, encountering this, caught in the distance by ABC's KTRK TV news camera. Deputies in a SWAT unit found about a dozen explosive devices in the house, which law enforcers say is illegal in Texas. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Pope Francis now ordering church leaders to go to the Vatican in February for a summit on stopping priest sex abuse. This is ABC News.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit Zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's Zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hey, what in the world are you eating?
A donut.
A donut? What's in it?
Ice cream.
Ice cream in a donut? What's it called?
What's it called? An ice cream stuffed donut. Duh.
Well, where'd you get it?
Jesse James Railroad Express.
Jesse James Railroad Express. Now, where in the world is that?
That's at 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Let's go get one, folks.
We see a mixture of clouds and sunshine around the area today and run warm and humid. We can't rule out a few isolated, widely scattered showers or thunderstorms. Best chances in the afternoon or evening. We'll have highs around 80 to 85. Later on tonight, some fog or low clouds late, otherwise variably cloudy, with lows in the upper 60s to low 70s. We'll call it partly cloudy Thursday, turning breezy. Just a slender chance of a thunder shower or two. Tomorrow's highs 82 to 87. I'm meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Well, this morning we have sun and we have clouds. We've had it coming going right now, 71 degrees and cloudy, and it's 8:05. We've been covering this condition of weather, Florence, coming up the coast. We've North Carolina News Network and ABC. On the phone with me right now is Ed Sweeney. He lives out in that direction, and we're happy to have him to give us a live report from that area. Ed, how you doing this morning, my friend?
Hey, Jim, doing fine. We're a little warmer than you are. We're 75 here right now.
Oh, wow. Now, where do you live exactly in terms of the path of the storm? Where are you?
Right in the middle. We're in Jacksonville, North Carolina, right there where it's coming.
Are you?
And they've ordered a mandatory evacuation of the county. And I was telling the young lady before, it's right funny. I don't know where they're going to take the people, because they come out and said that it's not a building in the city that will hold, can withstand a Category 4 hurricane. But they're going to start loading up at 11 o'clock today. The forecast is, that starting tomorrow night, we'll get the worst of it between tomorrow night and early Friday morning. One of the worst things for us is they're expecting 30 inches of rain.
Oh.
And the little canals going out to the river and over to the ocean, they can't stand that outflow of water. And so everything's going to be backed up and flooded and all, as far as the roads go.
When do they anticipate that rain beginning? Or has it already started? Is it just for the week?
No, the sun's beautiful. The rain is predicted to start about 1 p.m. today.
Okay. And you've been there a long time and live in that area a long time. Are they predicting this to be one of the worst that you've experienced, or has it been worse storms than this one?
No, we said a Category 3, but not a 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Calvin and I looked at the door, watched the wind blow 103 miles an hour.
Mm.
But but no telling. I mean, this is supposed to be a killer storm. Is what they say. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, are you planning on evacuating, or are you going to hang it out?
We're going to hang it out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're going.
Well, the governor has called for a mandatory evacuation from all that whole coastline down there. You feel comfortable enough to know you're pretty secure?
I think so. Like I said, we've stood a Category 3 before, and the only thing, we had a few shingles fall off the house, and that was it. This may be, a little worse, but we just have to, just pray for the best.
Is that the general attitude of the community where you're living? Are most folks going to sit it down, or are they going to evacuate?
No, most of them are evacuating.
Are they? Are the businesses closing down?
Well, the county is going to provide. They has a school location, and they go provide buses to evacuate people. And Carla and I were talking last night. Well, what are they going to do with people in the nursing home and the hospitals?
Yeah, it's a good thought. Yeah.
So, but a lot of people are boarded up around here, so it's. Well, like I said, right now, I guess you remember what they call the calm before the storm.
The latest weather that you're hearing out there, has Florence stalled, or is it still moving slowly, or what's the progress?
Moving slowly. What they thinking is that once this thing hits, that it may stall or just hang around, for a while before it goes back out. But like I told you before, it's 75 degrees right now, and 5 miles an hour wind, and a 9-mile visibility. So you would think this would be a nice fall day.
Yeah, it'd be a vacation spot today, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and but like I said, I'm looking at my iPad right now, and where it goes up and down, with the weather flow. And like I said, the rain is supposed to get heavier during the day, and of course, all day tomorrow is raining.
Well, all the way up North Carolina, we're experiencing those same kinds of weather reports, and they've called off the Carolina game on Saturday. All the colleges are calling off their games for Saturday in anticipation of the storm, and the high school football game scheduled for Friday night have been moved to Thursday night. So we're all anticipating that happen. We got the World Equestrian Center games going on here in Rutherford and Polk counties for the next 2 weeks, and they're experiencing wonder what's going to happen to the horses. So we got a lot of excitement happening here in the foothills of North Carolina.
Yeah, because remember one time before, y'all up in Charlotte area it got real bad one time. One of the storms we had.
Yeah, Hugo came through and hit Charlotte big time. Yeah, I remember that very well. Well, listen, my friend, I don't want you to get caught in that, but if you feel like you're secure and staying home, you know better than we, but I sure hope you're going to be okay.
Well, you can check with me. Are you on there Saturday morning?
I won't be on there for Saturday morning, but we'll be able to check on you.
All right, take care, Jim.
You have a good day. I appreciate you giving us this report, and anything new comes along, give us a buzz.
I certainly will, Jim. You take care.
Thank you.
Good talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Night.
That's Ed Sweeney out in Jacksonville, right on the scene, says he is not going to evacuate. Been through several storms, and he thinks he's going to ride this one out as well. A longtime friend out there. Hope he's going to be safe and sound. Congratulations to Teresa Nanny of Forest City. She works at the Rutherford Courthouse, and she won the Daylight Donuts this morning. We're being kind to David Bradley. He's self-employed, lives in Rutherford, and we hope that all these folks are going to have a great weekend. And we'll tell you about the games, change of the games coming up here in just a few moments with some news from here and there.
It's time to do the back scratch tickets. Win on the front, win on the back. It's like that, y'all. Scratch the front, flip it over, scratch the back. Scratch the front, flip it over, scratch the back. Scratch the front, then you turn it around. Another chance to win, let me break it on down. Back scratch tickets like 1, 2, 3 from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Over $70 million in total prizes.
The back will surprise you.
Scratch the front, flip it over, scratch the back. Scratch the front, flip it over, scratch the back. Scratch the front, flip it over, scratch range from 1 and 3.53 to 4.74. Approximate odds to win the top prizes from 1 and 1.2 million. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Get more for free at Carolina West Wireless. Stop by today for buy one get one free on some popular brand name smartphones. You can even get your first month of unlimited data free too. Our nationwide 4G LTE service will let you send, share, and search as much or as little as you choose. Carolina West Wireless. Go stay connected. Now open in Forest City. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Well, things are exciting here in the foothills with World Games opened last night, of course, and NBC will be picking up all the special events, and you can follow that on NBC. I think they'll have the first game maybe this afternoon. I'm not really sure about that. I don't have the NBC schedule, but you can follow that if you can't get over there, and many of us are not going over there. But follow that if you can. Now, all three of the high school football games this week involving our local teams have been moved up to Thursday night. East Rutherford at Morganton Patton at 6:30 p.m. kickoff. Calhoun Falls, South Carolina Charter at Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff. RS Central at South Caldwell. That is also a 7 o'clock kickoff. And I believe our game of the week is the East at Morganton Patton game. Yeah, it is 6:30. And that'll be our game, and we'll talk with Mr. Friday Night tomorrow morning instead of Friday morning, and about how that game lines up. And we'll have that game on the air for you on Thursday night. Now, the Tar Heel game, of course, has been canceled for this week. Well, there will not be a Tar Heel game on the radio because they have canceled that due to the weather conditions, anticipation there in the eastern part of the state. Okay. Other news from here, their teens may have been culprits in that property damage reported the other day. Law enforcement officers in the towns of Forest City, Spindale, and Rutherfordton and Rutherford County Sheriff's Office are continuing to investigate that string of property damage incidents that occurred during the weekend. In addition to police reports from the Sheriff's Office, Forest City, Spindale, and Rutherfordton police investigated several calls. Reports of property damage were reported to Rutherfordton police. Car damage, windows broken, windows shot. The VA clinic in Rutherfordton also reported damage to 3 vehicles parked at the clinic off Charlotte Road. BB guns and paintballs were used to damage the properties across 3 municipalities and in the county. Anyone with any information on these, you're asked to report that so they can get these juvenile delinquents off the street. I guess I'm assuming they're juveniles. Surely adults won't act that way, will they? Governor McIntyre was driving a 2007 Toyota Saturday morning when the vehicle was struck by a Kia Soul at the intersection of Doggett and Bethany Church Road in Forest City. McIntyre and a passenger in the Kia, Ashley Horton, were both transported to Rutherford Regional Medical Center for treatment and later released. In an earlier account of the accident, McIntyre was not mentioned as being taken to the hospital. Assisting at the scene were the Forest City Fire and Rescue, Forest City Police Department, EMS, and Rutherford Rescue. Well, yesterday was a solemn day in the memory of many about 9/11, and the Forest City Fire Department held a memorial in memory of that. Heroism of 9/11 was remembered at a memorial service at the Forest City Fire Department. Forest City Fire Department Chief Farrell Hemrick and Assistant Chief Gregory Tate held a ceremony, invited anybody to come, and keynote speaker was Tony Robbins as they remembered and reflected on his experience back when that took place. Polk County is preparing for a possible storm response. They've got a lot of things going on over there with the Equestrian Center. The communities are still dealing with the effects of deadly mudslides and flooding that happened some time ago. Now they're keeping a close watch on Hurricane Florence. You remember they had all that flooding over in Tryon and Mill Springs and Columbus months ago. They're still dealing with that repair. Now the massive Category 4 storm that's threatening flooding rain in the area, all while thousands of people are visiting the World Equestrian Games. The event officially kicked off yesterday at the center, Tryon Equestrian Center. It's challenging because it seems like it's been one thing after another. According to County Manager Marsh Pittman, we're trying to make sure folks understand that we're trying to stay on top of it. We want to protect the public safety of our local citizens, which is of utmost importance. Pittman said county leaders are monitoring the storm along with state government, community partners, the Federation Equestrian International, and the Tryon International Equestrian Center. The Columbus Fire Department has been monitoring the storm as well and making preparations to respond to storm-related incidents like mudslides or flooding. The department has a new drone that can be used to locate victims from the air now. Polk County still has not completely recovered from the flooding from back in May, so they still are not fully repaired, and so the structure may not be as strong as they'd like it to be. So that's one of the things. The recent rainfall left threatening and conditions ahead of the storms. That's one of the things they're looking at over there, but they're trying to stay on top of it. Meanwhile, a motorcyclist faces several charges after a chase in McDowell County. According to a sheriff's report release, a deputy was at the intersection of Goose Creek Road and US 221 South just before 11 p.m. when a black motorcycle with no tag displayed passed him at a high rate of speed. The deputy tried to stop the motorcycle, but the driver sped up, passed a truck on a double yellow line, and while trying to turn onto Interstate 40, the motorcyclist ran off the road. According to the release, the deputy arrested the driver of the motorcycle, identified as Timothy Allen Buchanan, 31, of Marion. Buchanan was charged with fleeing to elude arrest, reckless driving to endanger, failure to heed a light and siren, and driving the wrong way on a dual-lane road. Highway Patrol also charged him with several traffic offenses, and he spent some time in the big house. Today, Congressman Patrick McHenry announced $70,715 in a U.S. Department of Homeland Security grant to a Bostic Fire Department. The grant will go to the fire department there in Bostic and comes in the 9th round of the 2017 fiscal year assistance to firefighters grant program, which aims to help firefighters and first responders. Local departments applied for the grants from the program, which is administered by the Grant Programs Director of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And a panel of experts decided, and Congressman Patrick McHenry will be making that presentation to Bostic. 21 minutes after 8 o'clock here on the Stormwatch station, WCAB in Rutherfordton. And we'll have the Sheriff's Report coming up in just a moment. Have you heard the 3 big lies about Medicaid eligibility? First, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your house. That's not true. Second, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. That's not true. And third, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. That's not true. Please call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm for a free consultation and learn the truth about Medicaid and eligibility and nursing home care in North Carolina. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify and not lose everything you own. Call the Arledge Law Firm today at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton. Again, that's 287-3338.
Do you need some extra money in your pocket? Try Insurance Service Associates, your local independent agent. We can shop your auto and home insurance with several companies to get you better coverage and the best rate. Insurance Service Associates at 127 East Trade Street in Forest City for auto, home, or commercial insurance. More choices, better coverage, best rate. That's Insurance Service Associates, 245-5301.
Come on over and experience the authentic family-owned Mi Pueblito. Delicious hot meals and daily specials served fresh every day. Mi Pueblito is one of Rutherford County's favorite places to dine. They have been voted #1 best Mexican restaurant in Rutherford County. Enjoy taco salads, burritos, quesadillas, enchiladas. Many popular lunch specials are the all-time favorite, fajitas. They have something for everyone, even the hard-to-please amigo. Great service, warm atmosphere, full-service bar, and a large party room available. 2 locations to serve you: South Washington Street in Rutherfordton and Oak Street Extension in Forest City. Or visit them anytime at mepubs.com. That's mepubs.com. Visit Mi Pueblito, Mexican cuisine at its finest. I'm a big fan. More than 1 million Americans have heart attacks each year. And if you or a loved one experiences symptoms of a heart attack, every second matters. That's why the emergency department at Rutherford Regional Health System is a chest pain accredited facility. What does that mean to you? It means quality care here at home that could save precious seconds when treating the symptoms of heart attacks. To learn more about Rutherford Regional and its commitment to safe quality care, visit myrutherfordregional.com.
The flu season will soon be upon us, and Smith Drugs of Forest City is ready to provide these immunizations at the drugstore at your convenience. We will bill your insurance, and one of our pharmacists can administer the vaccine to you Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. and on Saturdays by appointment only. Remember that a flu immunization is the best way to prevent getting the flu, in addition to washing hands, covering your mouth when you cough or sneeze, and staying home when you are sick. Prepare yourself and protect those around you with a flu immunization this year. Come see us at Smith Drugs of Forest City, 139 East Main Street.
Here now is Deputy Keller with the report from the Sheriff's Department we aired earlier.
All right, so in the last 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office responded to 122 calls for service, 12 arrests, and currently has 218 in the county jail. For incident reports, we have Elaine Johnson reported fraud, and for arrest reports, we had Marty Campbell arrested for aiding and abetting driving a monster's boat, aiding and abetting speed to elude for arrest and harboring a fugitive. Darnell Johnson arrested for failed to appear on misdemeanor. Brandy Blanton arrested for failed to appear on felony. Jason Geddes arrested for failed to appear on misdemeanor. And Roger Cook arrested for speeding to elude arrest, possession of Schedule II controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. That's all we got for today.
Yesterday afternoon, citing the increasing likelihood of severe and unsafe conditions. North Carolina's game at home against 18th-ranked UCF won't take place on Saturday either, and Wake Forest's Thursday night matchup with Boston College will start 2 hours earlier because of Florence. ECU told Virginia Tech officials that the Pirates won't be traveling to Plattsburgh to face the 13th-ranked Hokies, and the MEAC Conference called off Saturday's football game at South Carolina State. The Bulldogs were set to take on North Carolina Central in their home opener. That game has been moved to November 24th. All these decisions made as Florence appears set to come along shore on the Carolina coast late Thursday or early Friday with strong winds and heavy rain. The Panthers will be without three-time Pro Bowl tight end Greg Olsen and the second-team All-Pro Bowl right tackle Darrell Williams for the foreseeable future. The team announced Tuesday Olsen refractured his right foot. That kept him out of 9 games last season. That happened during Sunday's 16-8 win over Dallas. Olsen will not have surgery, and he'll be reevaluated on a monthly basis, so you can anticipate he'll miss at least 4 games. He'll remain on the team's 53-man roster. Williams, meanwhile, suffered an undisclosed knee injury and will need surgery. The NASCAR playoffs begin Sunday at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and Brad Keselowski now looking like a title contender. He has back-to-back wins, the last 2 to close the regular season, and that gave NASCAR a jolt heading into the postseason. That's because the season kind of boring. The top 3 drivers won about half the races: Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Martin Truex Jr. This is NCN Sports.
At AT&T, we believe that access to affordable home internet brings you incredible opportunities. You can enjoy the power to explore a digital world of possibilities and connect with family, friends, and the things that matter most. That's why there's access from AT&T. If a member of your household is a SNAP participant, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month. No commitment, no deposit, no installation fee. Plus, get an in-home Wi-Fi gateway at no extra cost. Call 1-855-220-5211 or visit att.com/aware to learn more.
SNAP refers to the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Pricing excludes tax. Service will include a monthly data allowance depending on the type and speed of service you receive. If you exceed your monthly data plan allowance, you will be automatically charged $10 for each 50 gigabytes of data usage in excess of your data plan, even if less than 50 gigabytes is used. For details about data allowances, go to att.com/internet-usage. Wi-Fi enabled device required. Other restrictions apply.
Major League scores last night. Pinch hitter Brock Holt belted the go-ahead 3-run homer in the 7th, and the Boston Red Sox became the first team to wrap up a playoff berth. They rallied to beat the Blue Jays 7-2. Houston, they opened with a 5-0 lead throughout the first 4 innings at Detroit, and they hung on to win 5-4. The Astros continued to lead the AL West by 3 games over the Oakland Athletics. The Arizona Diamondbacks, they were 6-3 winners over the Rockies in Denver. Colorado still leads the NL West by 1.5 games over the Dodgers. The D-backs now with the win are just 2.5 games off the pace. The Chicago Cubs leading the NL Central is back to 2 games over Milwaukee. That after a 3-0 shutout of the Brewers. And the NL East leading Atlanta Braves. They moved 6.5 games in front of Philadelphia after they downed the Giants yesterday 4-1 in San Francisco. Josh Zach, NCN Sports. We see a mixture of clouds and some sun around the area today and run warm and humid. We can't rule out a few isolated to widely scattered showers or thunderstorms. Best chances in the afternoon or evening. We'll have highs around 80 to 85. Later on tonight, some fog or low clouds late, otherwise variably cloudy with lows in the upper 60s to low 70s. We'll call it partly cloudy Thursday, turning breezy. Just a slender chance of a thunder shower or two. Tomorrow's highs 82 to 87. I'm meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Mike Moses. 72 degrees currently. We have some sun. We've had some clouds. We got all kinds of crazy weather coming our way. Just stand by, stay tuned, and we'll keep you posted. It's 8:29. This is WCAB Rutherfordton. Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. This series will address the issues concerning the negative news reports. This program is paid for by Word of Faith, and the views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the management and staff of WCAB. Now here is Word of Faith Responds.
Good morning again, and welcome to Word of Faith Responds. We're so glad you're with us this morning. We have really enjoyed sharing with you what Jesus has done in our lives. I'm Mark Morris, and I'm with the Word of Faith Fellowship, and today I have Allison Curis with me. She is a member of the Word of Faith Fellowship as well. She wants to share with you the powerful things that God has done in her life. She actually came to our church in 1993 from Oakland, California. It's amazing how God has brought people from all over the place to right here in Spindale. In our church, it's always been amazing how God brought people from all over the planet to our church. So we're just grateful that God has a plan for our lives, and He knows exactly where we need to be and who we need to be with. And Allison has been such a blessing in our church. And of course, she's married to Andy Curis, who also shared on this program with his brother Billy. If you want to hear some of our past radio programs, we actually video them. They're all on our website. Our website is wordoffaithfellowship.org, and you can go there and see all of these wonderful testimonies about what Jesus has done in our lives. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Allison. Go ahead,
Thanks,
Allison.
Mark, and thank you, everybody that's listening. It's really an honor to be here. I never would have thought 25 years ago that I would be on a radio program sharing what God has done in my life, but it's really been a miracle. Like Mark said, I was born in Oakland, California. I was really raised in Walnut Creek, California, which is in the East Bay of San Francisco. I'm the youngest of 3 children. My parents, growing up, it was a pretty difficult childhood. My parents were both very, they did not have a good foundation in their childhood. My dad, when he was 8 years old, his mother died of a sudden heart attack, and so he was put in an orphanage, a Methodist children's home, and so he had a lot of hurts and wounds growing up, and he never really was able to get free from that. He joined the Navy at a very young age. He was always, I just remember he was always very depressed, very sad. He always just had just a sadness on him. He was very shut down emotionally. I mean, I can remember growing up as a child, sitting around the dinner table and trying to make him laugh, just trying to get some emotion out of him, make him smile. So it was kind of a very oppressive environment to grow up in. My mom she had a Christian upbringing, but she became very rebellious in her young adult age. She also had a lot of depression at her, and I can just remember them, growing up, they fought a lot, because they didn't have a good foundation in their life. They fought a lot, usually about money, about things like that. I can remember one night in particular, she would get so frustrated with him because he was so shut down that she would push and push until he would finally just explode, and he would curse and he would call her names. And I can remember one night, I think I was maybe 8 or 9, just laying in my bed and trying to go to sleep and hearing them fighting, and my mom just crying and running down the hallway past my room crying, and just it just cut you as a child, just cut you to the heart, just putting my head on my pillow and just crying myself to sleep. And so, like I said, it was just a very oppressive environment to grow up in. We did not go to church growing up. There were times like, on holidays, my mom would pull out the big family Bible and she'd tell us stories, about Jesus. And I always enjoyed that, but God was always out there, just far away. So when I was about 9 years old, and this was really a landmark in my life, like I said, my mom did have some Christian upbringing, some fear of God in her. She took me to a big Christian crusade at the Oakland Coliseum, and there was tens of thousands of people there. It was full, like at a baseball game. So I can just remember hearing, I don't know that I'd ever heard the gospel message before, but it was just so simple, how we are separated from God because of our sin, and the only way to get back to God is through Jesus, and repenting of your sin. And I just remember I was very shy, very withdrawn, very shut down, but I remember being so convicted, that if I did not, make a decision, I was, on my way to hell. It was just so clear. So I can remember them giving the altar call and looking at my mom sitting beside me, and she was just looking up at me, and I'm like, aren't you coming? And I was ready to go down there. I couldn't understand why she was still sitting there. Why would you want to go to hell, So I went down, and they prayed with me, and I can just remember, it was just a landmark in my life. From that time on, I can say God's hand was on my life. There was a fear of God in me. There were times in my life, I know that because of that place, God restrained me from going, deeper into sin that I could have. Anyway, things never really got better with my parents. When I was about 12 years old, I can remember they sat us all down one night and told us that they were going to get a divorce. And I can just remember it's just like it was a devastating feeling. And my brother, my sister, and I were there. My brother and my sister started crying, but by that time I was just so numb. I didn't know how to respond, but you could feel it was like a protection had been lifted off of us. There was like a brokenness that came to our family after that, and really nothing ever happened after that. My dad didn't move out. Nothing was ever said. It was just very unstable. You didn't know what was going to happen, but then, I think they were trying still, but then when I was about 13, my dad really finally did move out, and so I was 13, my sister was 4 years older than me, so he moved out, and then maybe about 6 months later, my sister moved out. About a year later, my brother moved out. So within just a short period of time, we went from a family of 5. We did have some happy times together, but like I said, there was just that oppression that was always there. So then it was just me and my mom, just the two of us. And my mom is thinking, well, this is going to be great. It's just be me and Allison. We'll have a good time together. We'll get really close. And that did not happen. Because that devastation, all that hurt in me, it really opened the door for the devil to come into my life. And I became more withdrawn, very rebellious. I became very against my mother, very sarcastic all the time. Just I had always been a good student up to that point, but I started not doing well in school. Really, like I said, I just became very withdrawn, even suicidal thoughts, but I knew in my heart, if I did anything like that, I would go to hell, because I knew I had that fear of God in my heart. I could not do that. I did not want to go to hell. So, anyway, remember, this is the 70s in California high school. So this is after, the 60s. It was not a good environment in my high school. There was no positive influence in my life anywhere. I can remember friends, just even in junior high, doing heavy drugs and involved in bad relationships, and it was just not a good time era, to be growing up in high school. So things were not going well for me. And then I remember in particular when I was in high school, this is after my dad had moved out, I was cutting classes a lot, and one day I was actually, for a period of time, I was out of school for 8 days and my parents didn't even know it. I would watch my mom drive off in the morning and I'd go back to bed and sleep all day. It was just terrible. I was just a tormented person. And my mother was very disturbed about me. She did not know what to do with me. But at the same time, she had just been divorced. She was trying to find herself. She was dating other men. She was seeing a psychologist. She took me to a psychologist. It was just a mess. There was no answers anywhere. She would periodically give me pep talks, like, you got to be strong. You got to, she would never bring me to Jesus, but, she'd always, you got to be strong in yourself. And I couldn't do that. I knew what kind of a person I was. I was not strong. I was tormented. So it didn't help. But there was no reality with her how bad it was with me. But she did not know what to do. So, I was, like I said, I was not doing well. But on the other hand, there were times when I would try to do good, and I'd try to start over again. But it never worked. I'd always fall back. So when in my junior year in high school, I talked my mother, my father, the principal of the school to let me take the proficiency exam to get out of high school. So when I was 16, I took the exam. I did really well on it, and I was out of high school. So now we start my adult life at 16, 17, and I started working. All of a sudden, I'm in an adult world. There's, just a lot going on around me, parties, drinking, drugs. I worked in a restaurant, which is, not always a good environment. I started working in an office when I was 19 years old. I started working for a man that was 17 years older than me, and we ended up in a relationship, and it was really not a good situation at all for me. I was looking for that stability, that security, but really it brought great destruction into my life for several years, and really the effects of it carried on for a long time. It was just a very dark time in my life. I was drinking all the time. When I was in that relationship, I was pretty much out of it every night, and we ended up living together for 6 months. It was just a bad situation. So that lasted about 2 years. After that, I had a great idea. I'm going to make a new start again. I moved to Southern California. Where I got that idea, I don't know, from the devil, because it was even worse. You're from Southern California, and it was even more worldly, even more wild out there, So I was going to community colleges, working. I was just searching. I was wandering. I was just drifting. I had no purpose in my life, still going to bars, still drinking, bad relationships. And I just felt, the conviction that I did have in my heart. I just felt so defiled inside after, the sin that I have given to. And, but there were no answers. Nobody had any answers. Nobody knew how to help me. So I think I was about 23 when I really started coming to the end of myself. And I felt the Spirit of God start drawing me. Conviction started coming to my life. I literally felt like I was walking on a tightrope between heaven and hell. I started going to, there's a lot of big churches in Southern California where you can just kind of slide in and out and nobody sees you. Well, I liked that then because I was still living my other life, a double life, and there was no accountability. So I was getting, I was seeking God, but on the other hand, I was always pulled to this lifestyle. So one night I can remember in particular, like I said, I was trying to do right, but yet all these influences in my life were just, I couldn't get free from it. So I remember one night I'm in my bathroom in somewhere in Southern California, and I just fell. It was probably 2 o'clock in the morning. I just fell to the floor, and I just started crying, and I just said, I can't do this by myself. And I wasn't even crying out to God. I didn't even know to cry out to God, but yet I woke up the next morning, and there was a peace on me. I didn't understand what had happened to me, but I felt a peace, and I felt the power of that. The addiction to alcohol was gone. And it's not that I didn't drink after that, but I always knew I was choosing to do it. It's like the power of it was broken, but yet, the pull was still there. But something had changed in my heart. God was drawing me. And so this went on for probably maybe another year or so. And then at one point I was seeing a man. We were in a bar in Southern California somewhere. I don't really remember where. There was one night. The music was just blaring. There was people everywhere, lights everywhere. It was so loud you couldn't even hear yourself think. I'm sitting with him where all this is going on around me, and I just start weeping. And I'm just weeping and weeping, sitting at this table, and I just can't stop crying. And he's looking at me like, what's going on with you? And it was God. He was dealing with my heart. It's like I could feel the grieving of God for the life I had been living, and God was just trying to get to my heart. And, after a little while, he said, do we need to leave? And I said, yeah, we need to leave. And that man, actually, he wanted to marry me. And after that, he said, is there, would you marry me? And I said, I can't, because in my heart, I knew my life belonged to God. I could not, go with the world like that. And he was part of that. So the power of God that was on my life that time was just irresistible. It's like I can't describe the drawing power of God was irresistible to me. It was so strong, and the conviction was so strong. I mean, the draw, like I said, it was just drawing me. And I can remember looking back, I was reading my Bible at the time, and at some point I read that scripture in Luke 7. It talks about the woman who fell at Jesus' feet and was weeping and wetting his feet with her tears and wiping, and I thought that was me. I was so broken, and I was finding Jesus, but yet I was so grateful that God was having pity on me, And so, let me say, like I said, I was still seeking. God put it in my heart to move to Oregon, where my sister lived with her family. And that really was, like I said, I was always trying to find a new start, but that really was a new start in my life. It's like I was leaving my old life behind. I had to do something to get out of that environment. So I moved to Oregon to live with my sister. I lived there for a little over a year, and God really, really did start changing my life then. I felt the Spirit of God just melting that hardness in my heart, touching just really, really deep places in my heart that I didn't even know existed. That hardness that comes when you live out in the world just was melting off of me. And I was reading my Bible. I was going to church with her and her family. I was baptized, and that was just, the most exciting day of my life. I just remember crying and crying. It's like I felt new and clean inside, And truth was getting in my heart. I was reading my Bible all the time. It was like I'd found life again, or life, because I'd never had it before. I'd never felt these emotions before. So I lived with her for about a year. I eventually moved back to Northern California, where I was from. I was still kind of seeking what I was supposed to do with my life, to go to college or whatever. But I was still so hungry. I still wanted so much more of God. I found a small local church. But, as I started to go to church, I was with the people around me, and really they were just like I was. There was no real godly example to look for. And I still had all that because of all the sin I'd given to. I had so much torment in my mind and in my heart. I didn't know how to, God had done a work of repentance in my heart, but when you give yourself over to really demons like I had, I was full to the brim. I did not know how to get free from all that stuff. My mind, I could not concentrate a lot, and no one knew how to help me. Like I said, I was going to a charismatic church, but it kind of had that California atmosphere. It was very laid back. There was a lot of talk about deliverance, but yet nobody got delivered. There was a lot of prophesying over people, but it never came true. And I just started looking around, questioning, why is what I read in the Bible not happening here? I read about in the book of Acts where people were set free from demonic powers and all that, and I knew that's what I needed, but yet I didn't see it happening around me. So I'd heard about a Bible school in Texas, and I knew I needed more, and I didn't know what to do. I'd heard about this place, and I knew that this was a place where people, as far as I knew, were the most sold out to God. And so I went there. I went to the training school there. I was there 3 months. But again, around me, the lifestyles of the people were just worldly. There was sexual sin everywhere. It was just not a godly environment. So, but on the other hand, there were classes that we took, and God did do a work in my heart, though, because I had a cry in my heart. I remember one class in particular, it was on humility, and we were supposed to get up in front of the class and share our heart where God was dealing with us and opening up our heart to sins of our past, and it was very hard for me, but I had a fear in my heart that I had to obey God, and that's what God was having me do, and I did it, and I can remember just feeling so free afterwards. They said even my countenance changed, because light came in. You know, when you open up your heart and the darkness goes out, you know, the light can come in. So anyway, I spent 3 months there. I came back here, you know, I came back to California and slipped back in my old patterns, went back. I was always back and forth. But I can remember one night in Texas and standing in the kitchen of my dorm and just going about my business, what I was doing. And I remember I heard an audible voice said, "You've got to fight, Allison." And it was like, you know, look behind you, who was in the room with you, but I knew it was God speaking to me. I didn't understand what he meant at the time. I understand now, but at the time, you know, it was very clear. So after that, I prayed about whether I was to stay on staff there, and I knew I wasn't supposed to stay. So when I came back home, I went back to my old church, still crying out to God, God, what is the answer? What's the key? Where is freedom from sin? And so I came back to the church that I had been going to, and when excuse me 1 second, my mouth's kind of dry. I hope I'm not talking too fast, but I'm trying to get it all in because there was a lot. I met a young lady there. Her name is Suzanne. It was Suzanne Murray at the time. Suzanne Doyle now, and she was actually on the program several months back. But she was going to that church then because her dad was opening a bookstore. So she just happened to be there. And that just shows you how God, you know, if there's a cry in your heart, God will get you where he wants you to be for your will, his will in your life. So I remember just seeing her and thinking, I would like to be her friend. And that was kind of unusual for me because I was still pretty shy, you know. So we became very close friends, and we actually ended up being roommates. And we had another friend, his name was Chris, and we just would spend time together and talk about God and how much, you know, talk about the Bible and how we wanted God to change our hearts. And Suzanne's mom had actually been coming here to the Word of Faith for seminars, and she actually knew your family. So she came here, and she came to a seminar in the spring of '93. And she came back, and I remember there was something different about her when she came back. There was like a seriousness on her. And I started asking her, asked her questions, and I kept asking her questions. And she would tell me, and she'd say, you know, the people there, they really live what they believe. And the prayer there is very powerful. And there's deliverance. And I just kept asking her, you know, questions, just more questions, and we'd talk, and she'd share with me. And so, you know, really by that time I was so desperate and so hungry for God still, and so desperate to be free from sin that the three of us, me, Chris, and actually her mom, the four of us, came to a seminar in May of '93. So I can remember that first Sunday that I walked into the church. It was a Sunday morning, and at that time they prayed before service started, and I can just remember walking in the doors of the church the first time. I'd never been there before. I'd never heard the prayer before, but it was so powerful. I mean, it just, the only way I can describe it is in the Bible where it talks about when Mary saw Elizabeth and baby John, you know, was in her womb, and he just leapt with joy. And that's what happened on the inside of me. It's like my spirit just leapt with joy, you know. It's like I had found what I had been searching for all those years, you know. And I mean, that was it for me. Nobody had to explain it to me. There was no question in my mind that this was God. So that seminar, I mean, it was the whole seminar was on harlotry in the church, sin in the church, and walking free from it, and, you know, how God wants us to live godly and holy, and that's what I had been searching for. And that seminar really just brought deliverance to me. It changed my life forever. And that, you know, I talked about that oppression that I had grown up in. Like I said, I received prayer. It was like a heavy wool blanket, if I could describe it like that, on me all my life, and it broke. It lifted off of me, and it's never come back. I mean, that changed, that seminar. So we went back to California, back to our church, but, you know, I knew I could not go back. It's like our eyes had been opened to what we had been living in and how God wanted us to live, and we couldn't go back. So we were praying, you know, God, what do we do? So I can't say I heard an audible voice like I did, you know, prior to that. But, I kept crying out, kept praying, God, what do you want me to do? So God gave me this scripture in Jeremiah where it says, I will take you individually, one from a city and two from a family, and I'll bring you to Zion, and I will give you spiritual shepherds after my own heart who will feed you with knowledge and understanding. And that God put that scripture in my heart, to speak to me that this was his will for my life. So in August of 93, it's the middle of the summer, we packed up our cars and we made the trip out here. We drove.
Suzanne,
and Chris. His name was Chris Parks, yeah. So, like I said, I had a 79 Datsun 210. And he had like some other kind of, like a Pinto or something. I don't remember what it was. So there we are, and going to make this long trek across the country. It's August of 93. I knew I quit my job, so I was canceling my dental insurance. I quickly had all 4 wisdom teeth out because I wasn't going to have any dental insurance after that. So I was not feeling very well. So we're making this trip, and we're in California. All our earthly belongings that we wanted to keep, although there wasn't much, was in the back of our car. And so we tried to get out of California, and what should have been a 3-day trip took us 5 days. Because it took us 3 days just to get out of California. Chris's car broke down in the desert somewhere, and I had to have a custom U-Haul hitch put on my car that wasn't made to tow a U-Haul. So here we are. We were quite a sight, towing it. My car, like I said, it was not meant to carry that. It ran hot the whole trip. And Chris had to do most of the driving because with my teeth and all, I couldn't handle it. So it was quite an adventure, you can imagine. So we got here, and really, it was a hard trip, but it was the most exciting trip of my life. And really, once we crossed over the border from California into whatever state it was, I don't remember, we literally felt something lift off of us. It's like the devil didn't want to let us go, but he didn't have a choice, that was that fight that we had gotten in our hearts. You have to fight for the will of God for your life. And once we got out of it was smooth sailing after that. We had some bumps in the road, but it was really fun. We had a good time. So anyway, that was in August of 93, and I've been here ever since. And I love my life here. God has blessed me, beyond I could ever imagine. I have peace. I've never doubted that God brought me here. I never wanted to leave. And then going back to that scripture about in Jeremiah 3 where God will give you spiritual shepherds, that's truly what he did for me. Sam and Jane, they're like my parents. I love them, so much, and they are true pastors. They love us. They care for us. Every detail of our lives they care about. And the other ministers, they've taught me how to be strong in God, how to fight for the will of God for my life, how to live godly. They give you truth. Never afraid to, back in California, nobody would give you the truth about yourself, that you really, the reason you have all these problems is because you're rebellious. I had fought against the call of God in my life, and that's why all these things the judgment of God was on me from the time I was 9 years old until now. Anyway, while I was here, I learned, how to have a relationship with Jesus, how to submit my heart and hear the voice of God, and just settle down. That torment started breaking off my mind. God blessed me with a wonderful husband. He shared here, like you said, several months back, and God had delivered him from drugs and heroin, and really we are miracles. And we became close friends before we were married, and the miracle of it is, we were married in the holiness of God, which is an absolute miracle, what we had come out of, And God's given me priceless friends, that nowhere in the world would you find the friends that I have now. We really help each other. We help each other walk with Jesus, help each other to keep getting free from the sins of our past. And I like to say that Andy and I, we were older because of everything that happened. We were late bloomers, but yet, even so, God blessed us with a daughter. Her name is Paige. Hi, Paige. She's 12 years old, and she's just the biggest blessing in our life. And, when I look at her, I just see the mercy of God on our lives and on her life. Her life's a miracle, too. She's got her own story, but anyway, God has just so blessed me, and I would like to just say, the fight that you have to have if you want the will of God for your life, and because the devil's defeated, but you have to remind him He's defeated, because the Bible says he comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and that's what he tried to do in my life, but he couldn't, because there was a cry in my heart. If you keep that cry in your heart, it doesn't matter where you are or what you've done, God can find you. My favorite psalm is Psalm 139, where it says, even the darkness hides nothing from you. And God found me. Even in the darkness, God had his hand on me, and God saw me. And anyway, I just finished up, but I shared this verse in my wedding, but the last verse at the end of the book of John says, if everything that Jesus did was written in a book, even the whole world could not contain all the books that were written, all of the things that he had done. So, and that's what God's done in my life. I could be here all day and just tell you what, I'm so grateful what God's done.
That's so powerful, Allison. It's amazing you got that all in.
Oh my gosh, right?
God did so much in your life, and you're an absolute miracle. And I'm amazed at how you had this drawing power of God on your life in the midst of going to the bars. You were in that relationship with somebody who's 17 years older than you at 19, and going down all of these paths, but yet you had this, it's amazing when God draws us, isn't it? It's like this enormous pressure and power of God drawing us, even though we're over here and we're doing this or that. God's drawing us, and God was drawing you. What's amazing is that God saw where you needed to be all the way back in California, and here it is. He made this way. He had you meet Suzanne, and I've known Suzanne for years. Suzanne and I grew up together. She was on this radio program, and as a matter of fact, Suzanne and I were very close, and her mom, and so it's amazing how God knew where you needed to be. Right. You searched and searched and searched and prayed, and here it is. God brought you here, like you said, to shepherds that have a heart after God. Right. And I knew that was my heart too, just like you. And I grew up in Southern California, and you remind me of my life because we both had a cry. God, bring us to shepherds that have a heart after you, so that we can know you. And that's what he did. And of course, I feel the same way about our pastors, Sam and Jane. That's exactly who they are. They have a heart after God, and they're true shepherds, and they've helped so many of us. So that was so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we are so glad that you have listened today to our radio program. We're here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 to 9. We hope that you'll continue to listen to us. Thank you.